Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What just screams, this couple isn't going to make it. When one partner does all the compromises then lives a life they didn't want. Sometimes people judge me for leaving my husband instead of going with him. But to move to the Middle East, where I would have no friends, family, or job, where I wouldn't initially know the language and would have trouble even making new friends, and where he basically said that while I was unemployed I could, at least keep the house clean. It's not so much that I couldn't handle that life for a soulmate. It was more that I realized I wasn't actually soulmates with a guy who saw absolutely no issue with any of the above, because after all, he'd be making heaps of money. I don't care about money. He does. I had never known it before this. We're simply incompatible. Oof. My ex was all about communication. We had so much of it. Every little idiosyncrasy or small annoyance, we'd end up for an hour on the couch or bed talking it through. Tears were often involved. It would go on until we compromised and I just agreed with her because that was easier and less emotional than continuing on. Got to the point where I didn't want to discuss anything because it wasn't worth spending an hour, literally, talking about it. Looking back, she hammered in compromise and I was the only one conceding anything. I wanted A and she wanted B, so we'd compromise and do B. It's even been hard in subsequent relationships because I still hesitate to address things due to the residual Pavlovian feeling. Could you explain more about this? I feel like I'm the one who's like your partner in the relationship and my girlfriend is like you, and I'd love to understand her better so I can learn when it's okay to have a discussion and when to let it go. When one partner is disdainful of the other, it's the death of the relationship. Pack it up. It's not going to make it. I can attest to that. Your partner can feel your disdain, by the way. It's palpable. The problem is, an enormous, tragic number of people believe that feeling disdain from your partner is normal. They've been raised watching it, or convinced by their friends in equally disdainful relationships of it, or just never known anything else in their own relationships. I used to be friends with a guy who every time he got high, started freaking out about how he didn't want to date his girlfriend and settled for her because he's afraid of being alone. But sober, he's attacking his friends based on nothing but rumors that they don't like his girlfriend, who he also doesn't like. It's very sad for both of them. Should record him when he's high and send it to him. Pretty obvious why his friends might have reservations about his relationship. One time I broke up with my then GF cause I felt I had settled for no reason. My college roommate gets drunk one night and starts telling me that he wishes he had balls like me and he wanted to break up with his then GF. Sober, I confronted him about being an ally to help him break up with her and he said, "IDK, what you're talking about." They didn't break up for 2 years. Then both his ex and my ex got married to the next guy, and my buddy and I have been single for looks like 10 to 15 years. When they've only been dating for 3 months but have already had plenty of ups and downs, like any relationship. Quote, "So my partner, blah blah blah, horrible thing here. I really love him and want to make this work. He's my soulmate. How long have you been together? 4.5 weeks. Fuck outta here. Also, I'm 20F and he's 19M. Criticizing each other in front of others. We go out to dinner every few weeks with this couple that has been married as long as us, almost 20 years, and we go on joint family vacations, etc. They always argue in front of us. I told my husband I think it's their foreplay, so now when it happens I tap his foot and laugh. I found that different people have very different definitions and thresholds when it comes to banter, arguing, and fighting. The people I get along best with are ones that I can have a good-natured argument with. Sometimes that can get, you could say, enthusiastic. It's all in good fun for the both of us, but there have been several times where a third party has stepped in very nervously trying to de-escalate what they see as a fight. It can be kinda hard to explain to somebody who doesn't get it. No, neither of us actually cares that much about pizza toppings. Yes, we were raising our voices and calling each other names over our differing pizza preferences. No, we're not actually mad at each other, in fact we were having fun. Sometimes the couples who have hideous public fights actually do stay together in a horrible relationship, thereby doing the arguable public service of keeping one another out of the dating pool. A lot of these people are delusional of the bad situation they're in. These types always say stuff like, "It's normal for couples to fight." No, it's really not. Happy couples don't fight often and can resolve issues as a team. I've dated people where we did fight, a lot. I've been with my current partner for 5 years and I can't even think of a time we last fought. Some people aren't meant to be, and fighting is a major red flag that people aren't compatible. Location flag. I went to one wedding where the bride refused to say, for richer or poorer, during the vows. I don't know how the hell they didn't cover that during all the preparation or rehearsal. Maybe it was supposed to be removed and the minister said it by mistake. Either way, it was super awkward when the minister said it and the bride just glared at him and shook her head. My husband zoned out when he was supposed to say, in sickness and in health. Later on, he said I was so beautiful he forgot what he was doing. He proved himself later on though. That man has picked up so much vomit from when I was pregnant. Poor guy. In the "I take you as my lawfully wedded" part, I didn't edit out the husband in the husband-wife that followed. So now I am married to my female husband. If she couldn't even say, for poorer, imagine how she'd act if things ever got tough. That's a whole red flag in wedding vows, not just a typo. Well, they were divorced within 2 years and she did her best to clean out every penny he had. It got really ugly. Arguing loudly during their 1-year anniversary at the local Applebee's. What if they're arguing loudly during their 1-year anniversary at the local Chili's? Can't break up over margs and mozzarella sticks. When their relationship is super performative. Like, this is what he bought me for Christmas FB post. This is what he bought me for my birthday FB post. So many FB posts. And then tells me in person that they've been working out hard at the gym and they are both going to look so good on their wedding day. 40-year-old woman, marriage lasted 2 years. I swear loudly crying, it's because performative people are incredibly superficial with their values. They like to show off and they like money and attention more than actual love and a relationship. When more resources come around, they switch to that. When they post on Reddit, should I leave my spouse? If you're asking that, then chances are that one of you is already done with the relationship. From experience, when one has an over-attached parent and doesn't make the effort to defend their marriage, the latter part really hits. This is one of those sad but true ones that you have to live a little to learn. Almost exclusively, if your partner has unhealthy family relationships and won't set boundaries or even understand the unhealthy nature of the relationships, then the marriage is doomed. During my wedding, my dad turned to my mother and said, "They aren't going to make it." His reasoning was during the first dance, she was looking around and posing for pictures, making sure everybody got good shots, so I was sort of following her lead. Just smiling at people with cameras and whatnot. We divorced just over a year later. When my mom told me about it, I asked my dad why he knew. And he said during what was supposed to be our first act as a married couple, she was only concerned about looking good in pictures and he knew at that moment we weren't right for each other. I've been married to my real, I don't like saying, current wife for almost 21 years and we never even had a wedding. She didn't want to waste the money. I'm her first and only marriage. Very happy for you finding the right person. Think saying real instead of current is a beautiful sentiment. Congratulations. When they talk shit about each other behind their partners' backs. My HUSB sand and I made friends with a couple and all seemed well. First time I hung out with the wife solo, all she did was trash her husband the whole time. I was so shocked, went home and told my husband, who was shocked too. Turns out if you're alone with her, it's pretty much all she talks about, how unhappy she is, how awful of a partner he is, etc. I was horrified because I'm very good friends with the husband too, and he only ever says nice things about her when she's not around. Just so sad to me. If you're that unhappy, just end it and put everybody out of their misery. Unfortunately, this behavior was normalized with 80s and 90s sitcoms. I got a dose of it from older married guys, uncles and cousins, when I was getting married, and some of my friends got it too. When they weren't around, we looked at each other and said, do they even like their wives, or are they just doing that because they're expected to complain? If you've seen I Think You Should Leave, there's a great sketch where a guy gets sucked into the wife bashing, thinks about how much she supports him, and then proclaims his love for her before leaving. I think husbands need to be more vocal to their friends about how they appreciate their wives, that is, if they actually do appreciate them. They started as affair partners. My uncle and his cheat partner just celebrated their 30-year anniversary. Deadpan face. The only times I've personally seen that happen is if the affair partners are also swingers. That's how my parents started. They've been married 25 years. IDK if it's been the best though lol. How the hell did you find that out? Brum can't. I actually know affair partners that ended up working out. Note, I do not condone cheating, I think it's incredibly wrong, it just worked out for a single couple I know. My friend's dad had a whole secret family, he was just waiting to leave my friend's mum until the kids were 18 because he was scared she would never let him see them otherwise. My friend eventually forgave him and she has a good relationship with him, his wife and her half-siblings. But my friend's full brother never forgave him, changed his name to his mum's maiden name and cut his dad off permanently. The dad had a 10-year-old son with a new woman by the time my friend found out. And they now have another daughter too. Yeah, it makes me so mad, but I have an ex-relative that married the other woman, divorced the first, continued to be an active jerk to his ex-wife and refused contact with his kids until they outgrew childcare payments, but has stayed married to the second wife. When they come to me to talk about their troubles instead of their partner because their partner doesn't take them seriously or makes them feel stupid for it. This is significantly different than shit talking about your partner behind their back, and I don't see it mentioned enough. It's not shit talking when you talk about being treated like shit. Have my upvote. Frequent breakups and then they get back together. Yeah, on again, off again is always a huge red flag to me. Like if you broke up once and got back together, that could still be okay, but multiple breakups just screams drama. One of my husband's friends and his girlfriend have broken up multiple times and keep getting back together. He literally left her and started dating her sister, that didn't work out and they got back together. He has cheated on her, she has cheated on him, and they end up back together. Weirdly, they even live with the sister he left her for. He is planning to propose in February, face with open eyes and hand over mouth. They're so weird. I keep just waiting for them to just leave each other alone instead, lol.